Mass protests have erupted in Iran against the ruling regime as the country's economy is plunging into an abyss. Just think about it. One United States dollar is worth almost 1.5 million Iranian rials. But that's not even the main reason for the protests. There are rumors that Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is ill, making it harder for him to control the situation. Nevertheless, Iran's supreme leader, watching what is happening, is steadfastly sticking to his usual strategy. This includes the production of missiles and drones, attempts to restore damaged regional alliances and proxy forces, and a refusal to accept Western preconditions for negotiations on the nuclear deal. Ayatollah says he doesn't care about the economy. Missiles matter more. And meanwhile, by the way, another Iranian-backed group in the region is collapsing. This is in Yemen. In this episode, I'll explain what I mean. In addition, American President Donald Trump, against the backdrop of protests in Iran, threatened Tehran with new bombing strikes if Tehran attempts to restore its nuclear capabilities and ballistic missile program. My name is Alexei Pechi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, leave any comment, and be sure to subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link is in this video's description. Friends, have you noticed how we are especially drawn to watching negative news? I'm sure that most of you, when you wake up, reach for your phone to immediately read the latest news, and it's the negative news that grabs your attention more than the regular ones. But why does this happen, and how can we avoid overloading ourselves, especially during the New Year holidays? To figure this out, I encourage you to watch this video. The link is appearing on your screens, and I'll also leave a link to this video in the description to this video. I recommend you go check it out and make sure to watch it. Because it's a very interesting psychological trick of our brain that pushes us to check in on time and not get lost in negative news.
Зависio.
So, in Iran, the largest protests in the past 3 years have erupted, mainly involving traders and shop owners. The demonstrations followed the devaluation of the national currency, and here I will give you some truly shocking information. As of December 28, that was the last day when the official exchange rate of the Iranian national currency was presented. So, as of December 28, the Iranian rial weakened to a record low of almost 1.5 million rials per one United States dollar. After that, the head of the Central Bank of Iran, Mohammad Farzin, resigned. And after that, food and medicine prices skyrocketed amid sanctions pressure on Iran and the worsening economic situation in the country after the war with Israel. The protests began on Sunday with small rallies at two major mobile phone markets in central Tehran, where demonstrators chanted anti-government slogans. Later, demonstrations took place on Sadi Street in central Tehran, in the Shush district near the main Tehran Grand Bazaar, as well as in other major cities in different regions of the country, including Isfahan and Shush. In some places, students from major universities joined the protests, and in several districts of Tehran, police used tear gas to disperse the protesters. And so, according to official statistics, inflation in Iran jumped to 42 in December amid the devaluation on an annual basis. Food prices soared by 72 and prices for medical goods by 50 compared to December of last year. But the Iranian authorities decided to take advantage of the Russians' experience. Here's what to do to improve the state of the economy: raise taxes properly. Even greater concern among Iranians was caused by reports from official media that the government plans to increase taxes in the Iranian New Year, which begins on March 21. In December, the authorities raised gasoline prices for the first time in 6 years. Previously, the presidential administration attributed the country's record dollar exchange rate increase to the economy's overall condition, and also with a quote about temporary excitement in the market, which will subside and the situation will stabilize. This is complete nonsense, and to be clear, nothing will stabilize there. I'll give you two numbers. Today, one United States dollar is worth almost 1.5 million rials, while in 2015 $1 was worth 32,000 rials. It doesn't really look like the trend is improving. Interestingly, amid mass protests, Iranian authorities announced plans to make concessions to demonstrators on the evening of December 29. In the evening, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said he asked the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs to hear protesters' legitimate demands. According to Iranian government spokesperson Fatimeh Mahajirani, a mechanism for dialogue will be created, including negotiations with the leaders of the protests. Pezeshkian, for his part, assured that the authorities intend to take fundamental measures to reform the country's monetary and banking system, as well as to preserve the purchasing power of the citizens. But the truth is, how he plans to do this is unknown. And it's important to note here that Iran is currently led by the ailing 86-year-old supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who has spent decades trying to strengthen his regime against internal and external threats. But now he is forced to deal with a failed strategy, because the time has come to reap the consequences. Inside the country, disillusioned youth are showing unprecedented disobedience to Islamic norms. And here's an interesting example. In early December, hundreds of women, literally hundreds, took part in a marathon on Iran's resort island of Kish. Dressed in t-shirts and leggings, with their hair casually tied back, just like any ordinary woman going out for a run. For Iran, this is essentially a rebellion. While for Europeans it's normal, women have the right to dress as they wish, in Iran, it's considered outright rebellion. But authorities remain silent, even though in 2022 women were killed for not wearing a hijab. And now, given the limited options, Ali Khamenei is taking a cautious, wait-and-see approach, avoiding important decisions and radical strategies. It seems that Khamenei's regime is letting things take their course for now and is looking for strength, and right now any decision Khamenei makes is likely to have significant negative consequences. That's likely why he's avoiding major decisions. And don't forget that this year, 20 provinces in Iran have suffered from the worst drought in the country in more than 40 years. The water supply crisis caused by inefficient management has become so serious that Iran's president Masoud Pezeshkian openly suggested evacuating the residents of Tehran. Just move the entire capital elsewhere, since Tehran had no water. Iran's foreign policy has reached a dead end, and no diplomatic breakthrough is expected here, since Western powers are only tightening sanctions. The network of militant proxies, or the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps proxy forces, which has long been a cornerstone of Iran's regional influence and deterrence, has been greatly weakened amid almost daily strikes by Israel. And the key territorial advantage was lost when Syrian rebels overthrew the Bashar Assad dynasty, which was supported by Iran. Last year, Hamas and Hezbollah were also greatly weakened, and today, the United Arab Emirates as well. After the strike, by the way, Saudi Arabia announced that they are ultimately leaving Yemen, winding down their counter-terrorism operations and withdrawing. By the way, the Saudis suspected that the Emirates started helping the Yemeni Houthis. While Iran is weakened, the Saudis struck the Emirates said, okay, we understand, we're leaving Yemen. This shows that the Yemeni Houthis are also weakened. But what decision does Iran make in this whole situation? Is it really right to build more missiles and drones again to threaten the region and the whole world? And so, United States President Donald Trump threatened Iran with new bombing strikes if Tehran tries to restore its nuclear potential and ballistic missile program. Quote, I heard that Iran is trying to build up its strength again, and if that's the case, we'll have to crush them. We'll crush them, we'll crush them. Crush them to smithereens. In the end, Trump advised Iran to seek a deal with Washington and reminded them about the large-scale attack on Iranian nuclear facilities earlier this year. In addition, Trump announced his intention to begin the second phase of the peace plan for resolving the situation in the Gaza Strip as soon as possible, emphasizing the need for the complete and final disarmament of Hamas militants. So things are going really badly for Iran, and now all that's left is to watch where the internal protests will lead. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. If you found this episode interesting and informative, you can support the work of this YouTube channel with your donation or a paid sponsorship subscription using the links and details provided. In the description of this video, it says support the Alexei Pichi channel. Choose any format that is convenient for you. I will be grateful for any support you can give. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.